Welcome to Making Sense with Lady Lovers. I am one of your hosts, Sasha, a lady that loves ladies.
Yes. And I am your other host, Brandon. Sorry, I got hydrate a little bit. I am your male host who also happens to love ladies. What a coincidence.
What a coincidence,
What a
right?
coincidence.
Today's show, we are going to be talking about LGBTQ plus being involved in television and TV shows that supports it or doesn't support it.
Yeah. I just want to say
So,
before we get started,
yep.
apologies in advance for my video background being like this. I don't have like a nice place to record, so
It's okay.
or at least where I can set up my whole desktop. So for you guys who are joining us on our YouTube channel, links in the description because we have an Instagram now, we have a YouTube channel now,
Yep.
we're available on all. I hesitate to say all the major podcast
Listening
platforms.
to
Yeah, the major podcast platforms. Um, we out here. So if
And when he says major, he means major as far as like we're concerned what major is.
yes, to our
So it's
knowledge,
like,
to our
yeah,
knowledge. Yeah.
yeah. But for anyone else out there who thinks like something else is major, feel
Sorry.
free to let us know and we'll try to
Nah, you're just wrong. Sorry. Change your change your platform. It's easy as that.
or do that or do that.
Change your platform. We on
All right,
Google,
so
we on Amazon, we on Apple, we on Spotify,
yeah,
we on
yep.
Anchor, we on something else that I forgot the name of.
Don't Google something else that I forgot the name of.
Yeah,
Not legit.
not
Um,
not legit.
so before we even jump into uh, LGBTQ plus and TV, you always know I have to start off asking you a question.
Okay,
Okay. And the
question.
question is, off the top of your head, can you name
Off the
any
dome.
shows, yeah, off the dome, any shows that you've seen that promotes LGBT?
Will and Grace.
I actually like that show. That's a huge
Yeah,
throwback for
yeah.
anyone that doesn't know what that is. Look, I think they did like
They
a
rebooted it.
reboot, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
rebooted it.
I don't
The
know. I
original
don't
was
know how the
always better
reboot
though.
was. Yeah, I don't know how the reboot was, but the original was pretty good. It
Yeah,
was
the
pretty
original was
funny.
pretty dope.
Pretty funny.
I actually went on to glamour.com, right?
Okay.
Because I'm like, yo, I want to know what controversial shows are out there that we need to know about. So they listed 19 different TV shows that has had some type of impact to the LGBTQ plus community. Um, some of these shows I've never heard of, never watched it. Some of them are like way before our time. I'm a 95 baby.
96.
Um, so there's stuff here from like 72. So yeah, we're not gonna know anything about that. Um,
Well versed. What do you mean? We're still well versed in 1972 topics.
we're still well versed in the topics, but not all of the shows. But
I've watched
so
every show in American history.
um, starting at 19 is a show called The Corner Bar. All right, if you guys see me looking off screen, is because I actually like have some notes on the shows, so like I can remember what I want to bring up.
Yeah, if you see me
Well,
looking off screen, it's because I have like ADHD or something. But
that makes sense.
Sasha's the prepared one here. I also feel like
That's
I
very
should
true.
have a hat because you have a hat.
Not really,
Again,
but thanks for
sidetrack.
pointing it out.
Yeah,
I
racism.
mean, I feel like when I wear this
Racist.
hat, right? This is completely off topic, but wearing this hat and going outside, I find it hilarious because the different reactions I get from people is funny. I love it. Um, but back to the corner bar.
Yes.
It came out in 1972, right? And the reason this show is considered like to impact LGBTQ community is because one of the characters, Peter Panama, he ends up being gay in the show. So that was the first time according to this website, that's the first time that a gay character was pretty much shown on TV. Everyone loved
Okay.
his character, and they actually wanted him to be a regular on the show. It's crazy.
What's up?
Um, Go ahead.
I said that's what's up.
Oh yeah,
That's what's up.
yeah. 18 is LA Law. I don't know if you ever watched that before.
I've never watched it, but I'm familiar with the name. I've definitely
Same.
heard of it before.
Same.
Yeah.
With LA Law, if you type it in on like Google or you YouTube it, they actually show the scene for you to like see exactly what happens. But for this one, this is the first time ever on network television, which was in 1991.
Mm-hmm.
Two women kiss for the first time.
Okay.
Yep. So the actors' names was Amanda Donahue and Michelle Green. Two straight women, but first kiss ever witnessed on television. 17, we have The Real World, San Francisco. You can't tell me you don't know about that show.
I know about real world. I know
All
about
right.
the real world. Yes.
Shout out to The Miz. He was one of my favorite people on The Real World.
You watched it live the season before he joined the wrestling for WWE?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
funny.
I seen when he was like, I want to be a wrestler. And everyone was cutting ass on him, saying like he's not gonna make it. You know, he can keep trying, but they don't see him going far. And then my boy comes out as a WWE superstar.
Mr. Awesome himself.
Right, Mr. Awesome himself.
Oh,
I think we got. I was gonna say we have to do it right for him. But yeah, so The Real World San Francisco had the first gay man with AIDS on that show. So that was a huge impact, spreading awareness. His name was Pedro Zamora. And it was also the first time on television that they witnessed a same-sex ceremony, because he actually did a commitment ceremony to his boyfriend.
That's what's up.
So that's pretty dope. Unfortunately, he did pass away at 22. Doesn't go into details from what, but it does say it's AIDS related. So rest in peace, Pedro.
R.I.P. The real one.
16, Brandon. B ran the Don.
B branded down.
Which, after the first podcast, when I was like listening to it because I was editing the audio, I'm like, B ran the Don, and then it hit me that it spells Brandon.
You didn't realize it in real time.
I didn't realize it in real time. And then I was like, the crazy thing is, I was in the bathroom, I was in the shower, and I'm like, B ran the Don. Where did he get that from?
Yeah.
B
It
ran
flows
the
so
Don.
nice,
And
too.
then it hit me. It does.
It flows
I
so
was like,
nice.
yeah, that shit sounds nice.
Yeah.
And then it hit me. I was like, yo, I'm an idiot.
That's my host name from now on.
B ran the Don.
It's B
I
Ran
like
the
it.
Don. Yeah.
I like it. 16. Friends. You already got to know what I'm going to talk about for that one.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. 1996. The first ever lesbian wedding on TV. Fun fact that I didn't even know was that a lot of the affiliate channels that would show it actually blocked that scene from being shown to the public.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, but the cast loved it because it made the show hit the news, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they were actually they won awards for that storyline. That's pretty dope, yeah. And then 15, I've never heard of this show, but it's called Relativity.
Nope.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
This show doesn't really make history, but it's the first show where both parties were a part of the LGBT community. So it's two women full blown making out. and that's the first time that's been seen. Them just full blown making out. Again, you can also YouTube it, and they'll show you the scene.
Okay.
Um, I had to stop because I felt uncomfortable. So
It
I was
was
like,
too
nah,
much
that's
making out.
it. It was too much for me.
It's a little
I was
bit
like, all right,
porny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but then again, that's just me. I just don't do well with like PDA stuff. Um,
That's a complete lie. You don't do
that's
well with
not.
other people's PDA stuff.
I don't do PDA in
Yes,
public
yes,
either.
yes, y'all do. I
We do
took a
not.
train ride with y'all. Y'all
We
was
do
being
not
cute as
full blown
no,
make
you
out.
don't full blown make out because that's not really something that's PDA. That's something that leads to sex. Like you,
Okay, but when you go outside, that's all you see now is all these people just making out in the middle of the street.
I don't be seeing that. I don't be going where you be going. I guess.
Brandon, I was literally standing in front of you at your job and you did not see me.
Yes, but there
You
was.
can
I can
establish,
guarantee there was no one making out in that area.
but I can guarantee you there is. You just don't pay attention to your surroundings.
That's not true. I pay
That
attention to
is true.
only my immediate surroundings because I have to be safe.
Exactly.
I can't be looking 20 feet
Exactly.
over there because I'm
I
driving a
have to.
vehicle.
I have to because I have PTSD.
Okay.
I have PTSD because there was one time that I was in high school and I was walking in the hallway going to class,
Mhm.
and this guy and this girl were about to kiss, right? But this guy is all the way here and the girl is all the way here, right? How am I supposed to know that with that much distance between y'all, you want to kiss,
Did you
right?
ruin their movie moment where they run into
I
each other's arms and embrace and make
ruined the
out?
movie moment. They kissed my cheeks. I'm walking, minding my business, going to
How
class.
short
All
are
of a
they that they
sudden,
kissed your
I got
cheeks?
two people kissing my cheeks.
How short were they?
I don't know.
They
I
had to
think
be
she
short.
was pretty short. She was like probably like the same height that I was, and then he pretty much had to bend to kiss her.
I wish there
But
was a
him,
video
it
recording of that
was
moment. Not because
it
I
was
want to see the
horrible.
look on your face, but just to see how that would work. Like the
It was
timing.
horrible. It was horrible. I was uncomfortable. I felt like I was forced into a three-way kiss.
Hmm.
It
You were
causes
you were unicorned.
Yeah, I was unicorned.
Yeah.
And since then I just keep my eye out in the public to make sure
Okay.
that it doesn't occur again. Okay? So I have legitimate reasons to
To
be
keep
on the
an eye out.
lookout.
Okay.
Yeah. Um but yeah, so this show, um both sides, one woman was a lesbian and then the other one identified as bisexual. So
Okay.
that's what made history in the community. 14, never heard of this show either. I feel like I'm a horrible gay woman because I don't know about half of the shows that they're talking about.
Okay.
But um it's called, I love the play on words with this one. Queer as folk.
Queer as folk. Yeah.
Queer as folk. I love the play on word. Play on words.
Yeah.
Apparently it's a very addictive show. I don't know. I've never watched it.
It seems like something Netflix would have a hold of, if I'm being honest.
It does sound like something Netflix would have a hold of, but I don't know if they do. Um, it
You
is
know what?
the reason. What?
I'm gonna be professional real quick and grab my laptop so I have a second screen for research. So
That would be lit.
let
Yeah,
me take off my headphones. I'll be right back. Going forward, I will have this laptop too, so that I don't have to leave.
that works. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's smart. While he's researching that, the reason this has made history in LGBTQ community is because it is the first hour-long American show that just follows everyday lives of gay people.
I have to take some credit away from America.
Okay.
It seems like it was originally a UK show.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Uh, it's a Showtime show. Showtime.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think Showtime has a lot of lot of LGBTQ shows, no?
Uh, do they? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I
feel
haven't
like
had Showtime in a minute. I was watching like Dexter on
that's
Showtime.
true. I feel like the no, the L Word is a Netflix show, right?
Yeah.
I feel like they had a show that was Showtime. I don't
Actually, the L
remember.
Word's on Hulu.
Oh, it's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu. No,
I
it
got
used to be
all.
Showtime though. It used to be Showtime,
Okay, see, I know
and
what I'm talking
now
about a little
and
bit.
now they have the L Word Generation Q. I feel like they're go, like going Degrassi down that Degrassi line with it.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Although nothing ever tops the grassy season that had Drake in it.
Uh,
Like,
yes, Wheelchair Bound,
yep,
the Next
that's
Generation.
and it's not because of him being in the show.
It's
It's
because
just
he's
he's
in
the
a
first
wheelchair.
person that topped off my head, but
When Jimmy got shot.
Jimmy
where
got shot.
where were you when Jimmy got shot? Yeah.
So 13 is Ellen,
Okay.
1997 show.
Yeah.
It's a self-titled show. Ellen DeGeneres acted in a show called Ellen.
It was bad. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember the reviews for
Um.
it. That's something that came up recently in like a video I was watching randomly.
Yeah. It was. It wasn't. It didn't last that long either.
Didn't Wanda Sykes have her own show?
I believe so.
Is that on the list too? Wanda Sykes? Or
No,
was it
it's
just a?
not on the
It was. It
list.
might have been just a talk show.
I know she had a talk show. I'm aware of that, and I know she was also in a sitcom, but I
One. Which one?
don't know if the sitcom was like
It says Wanda at Large. It's 2 seasons.
okay.
I think it was just based off her comedy. I don't know enough about the show to know if it like mentioned LGBTQ stuff, but
I mean, she is a part of the community, so
yes.
that's enough. But I guess the show just didn't make that much of a huge impact. I personally think it should have been on the list because although it's not anything that's the first time, I would say the fact that she has her own show and she's a LGBTQ person of color,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty important.
Pretty big, yeah.
'Cause everything I've listed so far has just been white people. Like there's no colored person in there.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Ellen, that she's white.
Yeah.
And for hers, the reason her show was considered a huge thing was because there's one episode where she just flat out says I'm gay. And I actually watched the scene because they have it on YouTube as well. And I watched the scene, and as soon as she said the words "I'm gay," it was like a dramatic pause, and then everyone in the immediate area was just stopped what they were doing and was just staring at her.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
this huge
They were
deal.
super extra with it.
Yeah,
Super dramatic. Okay.
yeah. And then 12, you already claimed that one, Will and Grace.
Will and Grace needs to be hired because that show was on the air for years and it was nothing but gay men.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's the reason why it's powerful for the community is
Yeah.
because there wasn't any moments where they were debating with themselves about, oh my gosh, I'm not supposed to be gay, like
Mm-hmm.
what am I gonna do, how do I come out to people? Nah, they owned it, they flaunted it, they were just living life.
Shout out to Jack. Best character on the whole
Facts.
show.
Facts. And then we got 11 is Queer Eye.
Yeah. I thought of that too afterwards, but Will and Grace was a bigger show for me. But yeah, I'm aware of the Queer Eye phenomenon.
Oh, you watched the show?
I've watched a couple episodes where they just take It's the one where they basically do like a makeover, right? They take someone.
I have no idea. I've
Yeah,
never watched it.
I think. Let me double check. I want to make sure. Um, yeah, they do a makeover.
Okay.
They're like style experts, and they go around and they give people, men and women, makeover. I think there's a spin-off for Queer Eye for the Straight Guy too. Uh,
Yeah, there is a reboot
a
on
reboot.
Netflix. Yeah, the original was on Bravo.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, yeah. I mean, they do a good job too. Like I do suggest if people want to get like a gist of how, like, they should stylize themselves for their body types and stuff, or like their appearances. They have like a wide range of people come on the show. They all look different and stuff, and then they style them in different ways, and it gives you a good idea of how you should style to be fashionable, if that's your kind of thing. If that's something that you'd want.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I I have to try one of these shows out because the fact that you know more about these shows than I do.
I don't know more about. This is just the one example. I feel
Okay,
like.
okay. Because
The Wanda Sykes one I pulled out of obscurity. I just remember I was like, I think she had a show before her talk show.
yeah, but that's more knowledge than I had about it. Unless it probably just didn't make that huge of an impact for me,
It's
so I
possible.
just like
Yeah.
completely
Like, I don't remember watching the
don't
show, but I
remember it.
remember it being around with like my wife and kids and stuff.
Ah, that was my shit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Junior.
Shout out to Junior.
And then we got Noah's Ark. That's number 10. Um,
That's a recent show too, right?
I don't know. It started in 2005. 2005.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that show.
So basically, the reason that this show is considered like also historic, not historical, but it made a big impact in the community is because most of the cast was of color,
Mm-hmm. I see it now.
which I was talking about that with the whole Wanda situation. A lot of times TV makes it where only gay people are white.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that itself is just horrible. Not because race is an issue, like I honestly don't see what race has to do with sexual orientation, but when television is putting something forward and they're claiming that, you know, it seems like it's predominantly a like white people situation,
Yeah.
then for people of color like myself, you have family that's just like, oh, the reason you think you're gay is because you're living in a country where it's full of white people and that's white people problem. Like I've literally been told that
Yeah.
I'm not gay, I'm just surrounded by too many white people. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, no, sweetheart. I had a crush on my pre-K teacher.
That's,
No,
that's not how it works.
not how it
That's
works.
not how it works.
I think now we're definitely starting to see more colored people in
Mm-hmm.
television portraying being a member of the LGBT community.
Shout out to Rosa
Um,
Diaz.
Facts.
Yeah, that's my girl.
For real?
Yeah, yeah. I've always loved her character, and then she started branching out. She was in Encanto. She was in not West Side Story. It was the other one, In the Heights. She was in The Heights.
Nice. Aaliyah loves that movie.
Yeah, she's been killing it. But like, because I was a huge Brooklyn Nine-Nine fan, I loved the Rosa Diaz character, and when she came out as behind the show, I was just like, Rosa, represented. They basically
That's
added
how.
another layer of depth to her character, and they didn't just one off it. Like, they progressed it throughout the show, and as she talked about like what people who are coming out go through, and I was like, this is so fucking fire. Yeah.
I have to see that. I
Yes.
watched I watched like the beginning of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then I think at that time like I just started throwing myself into work,
Mm-hmm.
so I missed out on a lot of episodes.
Watch it. I think it happens around season 3 that arc happens, but it's super important to have that kind of representation on a
That's true.
popular like nighttime show with that kind of time slot. So
Mm-hmm. Especially for people that are in the same community as her.
yeah.
Again, I don't see race being behind it, but what I do know is there's different cultures and there's different ethnicities.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for those that are unaware, my family is Trinidadian. So you can imagine for anyone out there that knows what being a Caribbean is like, that shit is it's difficult coming out, especially to a Caribbean family. And then when you're watching TV and you're sitting there and you really do just see it being portrayed by so many white people, and then you see like the conflicts that they're going through, but then you have your family that's saying, oh, that's a white person problem, and they're just saying like, we don't believe in that, that's not how it's supposed to be. You really sit there and you're struggling to figure out who you are as a person, because it's like, is it really just because I'm being influenced by others, or is it this really who I am, or do I just not give a fuck and just go about my business the way I want to go about it?
Yeah, for anyone who does feel that way, I definitely suggest looking at the Rosa Diaz arc in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because it's one of those few moments of the show where they'll still have comedic values around it, but for the most part they take it really seriously, and like they go through about having parents struggle to accept it, having them tell her it's just a phase, it's a lie, this and that, having to like try to lie to make it seem like she wasn't gay in the beginning and stuff. Well, in this
Mm-hmm.
case, bi, and then like just accepting herself and telling her parents, "This is the way I am. You can take it or leave it. I'm not changing for anybody or anything." So like, super
Yep.
super great that it happened, especially with like a character that's a person of color, as you were mentioning. So yeah, if you should definitely watch it. Everyone else should definitely watch it. Like I said, it was just a great moment for that series. I think.
I definitely have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
Number nine, we have As the World Turns. You know that soap opera?
Nope. Never heard of it.
I've watched a few episodes, like if I'm at a doctor's appointment and they have it on TV, I'll watch it. Um, so it's a soap opera, and the 2007 episode, it made history as the first daytime soap opera show to have a gay kiss.
Okay.
Um, so they also have like a scene where you get to watch what happens, but basically what happens is there's two characters, Luke and Noah. One of them is fixing the other person's tie, and it somehow became an intimate situation and they kissed.
It's always super romantic.
Always super
Yeah,
romantic.
you can't have someone fix your tie and not kiss them. Like it's
It,
they're right there, and they're looking up at you while they're fixing it. It's just yeah,
so
you
it
can't
doesn't
avoid that
matter.
situation.
It doesn't matter sexual orientation. It's just
Mm-mm.
like whoever's in front of you fixing your tie, it has to go down.
It's a primal trigger. It just happens,
Well,
regardless of sexuality.
I hope anyone out there who gets their tie fixed by biological family members do not
That's the one
go
thing.
through
The
that.
the pheromones don't give off the same if you're related to them.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes a lot more
yeah,
sense. That makes sense.
yeah.
Okay. Number 8, RuPaul's Drag Race. We should all know that.
I'm actually surprised that wasn't the first one that popped into my head. It's probably because I don't really watch it, but that is the
That makes
biggest
sense.
show. I think that is the biggest show.
They've gotten 19 Emmy Awards.
Jeez, man.
19 Emmy Awards. But that's not even the reason why they're considered like huge in the community. The reason it's huge in the community is because that is the first show to actually introduce people to drag queens and drag culture.
Yeah.
So honestly, shout out to RuPaul and all his drag queens and any other drag queen out there, because y'all be slaying. Y'all be walking around looking better than some actual queens out here.
Big ups. And y'all be wearing heels.
And we already know how B. Rain the Don feels about heels.
Sneaky sneak.
Yep. If you are unaware of what we're talking about, check out our first podcast,
Yeah.
which is Types of Lesbians,
Yes.
and you'll find out his feelings upon wearing heels.
Or check out our Instagram. There's a clip.
Or check our Instagram. Yep.
And what's our
And
Instagram
while checking
handle?
the Instagram, it's Making Sense with Lady Lovers. And when you check it out, also press that follow.
Yeah.
Hit the like on
Click-
that post.
Click on them links in the description too. Sorry, I'm looking for my phone. Click on them links in the description to get to our other stuff, our YouTube channel, our podcast channel, etc.
Number 7. I was actually surprised about this. I thought it would be a little bit higher, but I guess it's high for.
Is this like an actual ranking, or is it just like?
This is the
in
actual
order?
ranking
Okay.
that they have it in. Well,
Okay.
they didn't number it, so I was assuming like whatever came up first was like number 19,
Mm-hmm.
and then whatever was last was number 1, because that's usually how
Yeah.
they put things up.
Yeah.
But for this one, number 7 is Modern Family. I think we all know Modern Family.
They do have a gay couple in Modern Family. I will
Yes.
admit, as many great reviews Modern Family has and stuff, I took a break from watching nighttime sitcoms to like watch foreign shit. I guess like I wasn't watching
Makes
live
sense.
television. I was
Yeah.
like watching like animes and stuff. So I never really got to watch Modern Family. Like I knew some of the characters. Shout out to I don't know the actor's name. Shout out to my boy Al Bundy.
Yeah.
I don't know
If you don't know
real
Al
actor.
Bundy, you did
my,
not have a childhood.
that's my goon right there. Actually, let me find out his Ed O'Neill. Shout out to Ed O'Neill. Yeah. Yeah. I never watched the actual Modern Family show. Like I don't even think I've seen an episode. But I'm aware of the characters.
That makes sense. A lot of people. I remember when the show was being like spoken about,
Mm-hmm.
and some people felt like it was overrated. I don't know. I think it's like any other show where some episodes isn't as entertaining as other episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it's entertaining to watch. So I usually have it on if like I need background noise and I'm doing something, or I just need some type of entertainment while cooking or something. I'll have it playing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason that this impacts the community is because it shows a household with 2 gay men, and it's not just 2 gay guys being together, but it's the fact that they have a child as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no like toxicity as far as like abuse and anything seriously negative.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool.
They just had their season finale a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's weird to say a couple years ago. Like 2020 feels like it was last month, but a couple years ago they had their season finale, their series finale. Sorry, 11 seasons on the air.
That's not bad.
That's really good. That's really good.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they got a lot of. I know they got a lot of awards. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Um, and then number six, we got the L word,
which we discussed.
which we discussed. The
Yeah.
reason that they impacted the community is because it is a more detailed look at lesbian characters and their lives. So that's not too bad.
Mhm.
Number five, we all know this show. Orange is the New Black.
Yes,
And
I will admit I stopped watching after season two.
I can't front. Um, the season finale, I was not feeling that last season. It was kind of dry to me.
Mhm.
Like, I
Can I
don't know.
tell? Can I tell a funny story?
Go for it.
All right, at least it's funny to me. I worked at a restaurant back during the height of Orange is the New Black, like
Okay.
maybe third season just aired or
Okay.
something like that. And I was a busboy. I wasn't, like any big position. But I remember the lady who's quiet on the show, the one who doesn't speak, came into our restaurant. Like it was early brunch and it wasn't crowded yet. And I remember her server coming up to me and complaining because she's like, every time I take her order, she's not ready yet. And for someone who doesn't have any lines on the show, she sure talks a lot. And I was dying because, like, legit, she was there for like an hour without ordering food. Like, they had just ordered drinks. And she's like, I'm not ready for food. I'm not ready for food. She finally orders her food. And then, like, as soon as she gets her food, she eats like half of it and gets the rest of it packed up to go. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
It's crazy to hear stories like that where
Yeah.
it's like you just know a person off of the character they play on a show, and you kind of have this expectation when you meet them.
Yeah.
And then when you finally do meet them, it's just like, whoa. With Orange is the New Black.
Mm.
Um, I know off like the top of your head, you're already thinking like, yeah, there was a lot of gay scenes happening in there amongst like the women and stuff. But that's not even why they're considered like important to the community. They're
The
considered important
trans,
because of
the trans girl.
Laverne Cox.
Yes.
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 Yes. She was the first openly transgender person to be nominated for an Academy. Her character on Orange is the New Black, just in case you guys don't know who she is, was Sophie Bursett. So you could look into that, but
Yeah.
that's pretty dope.
I liked her character
And,
too.
yeah, I like her character.
Yeah.
And then not just that, but the fact that her storyline was I loved it. Like I felt it.
Mm.
You know, she just did not feel right in her body. Finally did the transition. The fact that her ex could still be supportive,
Mm.
that was phenomenal. The fact that she was able to implement a change in the prison system and take away some of their ignorance about it, that's
Mm.
also amazing. Like,
I also want to point out, in case anyone hasn't watched the show, her ex in the show is actually a woman. So like they talk about like her life before she got to prison, when she was still in a relationship with a woman, and like her having to come out to her, and then the whole prison thing happened, and like they were still. I think did they have a kid together? They had a kid together, right?
yes,
Yeah,
they did.
and like that
Yeah.
whole relationship with the kid and everything. So yeah, they
Yeah,
they
it's
go
pretty
into
great.
pretty into depth about that too.
And then for anyone that really wants to see like uh that's either thinking about being trans or is struggling with owning who you are, um I think her storyline is amazing to watch as well because there's also like a few episodes where she goes on strike and they actually took her off of her hormones and they weren't going to give her what she needed, and she started getting some of her male features back.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the women kind of come together to support the fact that she needs her hormones, and it was just a beautiful and powerful moment in that show that kind of stuck out to me.
Yeah.
um Number four, we have Grey's Anatomy.
I'm, I'm gonna say this as someone who just took the rabbit hole down to watch One Piece. So for people who know anime and know what I just got myself into, they're gonna judge me super hard for this comment.
Okay.
Grey's Anatomy is too damn long. Like, if someone wants to start watching Grey's Anatomy and like catch up and complete it, it's gonna take the rest of your life. I swear. I swear
Oh yeah.
this shit's
Oh
too
yeah.
long. At least with One Piece, it's like 20-minute episodes.
Um, but I can't. So I tried Grey's Anatomy. I tried it.
Hmm.
It was not for me.
I like Scrubs more.
Yeah, Scrubs was lit.
Yeah.
Um, I can say though, I do love Grey's Anatomy spin-off.
Which
So for those
which
that
is
don't know, um, Station 19 is a spin-off of Grey's Anatomy. So what happens is this guy Ben Warren, he decides he no longer wants to be a surgeon. Like he completed his goals of doing that, and now he wants to see how far he can get as a firefighter. So he leaves the hospital,
what a
becomes a firefighter.
what a twist.
Yeah, he becomes a firefighter, and I actually got my wife into the show, Station 19. Great show. I love it. For those that are unaware, there's another character. His name is Sullivan. You'll see him in like a future season. I am happy and then disappointed at the same time. So this is completely off topic for but for those that are unaware, I do suffer from CRPS. And so this is the first television show that I've watched that actually brought awareness to that condition. Um, yeah, so Sullivan had CRPS and it led him down a very dark path because he didn't know how to handle it. And now the dude's walking around like he never had a condition. It's like it's not.
That's not how it
What you
works.
see in
Yeah.
that show about that condition is not how it works in real life at all. Trust me. Um, but back to Grey's Anatomy. The reason that that is important to the community is because they have first time of um, an actor, Sarah Ramirez. She comes out as bisexual and she represents the bisexual community in
Okay.
that show. I've never seen that part of it. I haven't gotten that far in Grey's Anatomy. Again, it wasn't for me. I felt like I was watching soft porn. Like it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. Um Number 3 is Pose. I've seen the
It's
like
what?
the Pose.
Pose.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless I'm pronouncing it wrong.
I've
But
never heard of it. I just don't know. That's why I had to make sure.
I've seen the what's it called? Trailer for it. I haven't watched it cuz I'm like on the fence about it, but the point of this show is it's based around 19 about 1980s, about like New York City and ball culture. Um the reason this show is so important to the community is because majority of the set is trans.
Mm.
So it just follows a bunch of trans people, well, trans women, and then gay people of color. So this show has like a huge casting, majority is of color, which is great. Ryan Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
he quote unquote is a Bronx bred queer. So one, shout out to the Bronx for producing Ryan Murphy. Two, shout out to Ryan Murphy for producing a show that is a cast full of trans women and colored gay people. Kudos to you.
Big ups.
And we shall move on to number dos.
Dos. Duh.
Black Lightning.
All right.
You know what? You know Black Lightning.
That's a superhero, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
just gonna suggest a show just off the title. I've always liked that superhero name. Black Lightning is mad cool. Yeah. just
So that show is actress is Nafessa William. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She acts as Thunder,
hmm
and she is the first ever black superhero that identifies as a lesbian.
Okay. And
So
it
it's
has
not bad.
China Anne McClain. That's a throwback. You know who China Anne
Facts.
McClain is?
Yeah, I know China McClain. Yep.
Yeah.
And number one, yo, I was actually really surprised by this, but then not surprised. You
Oh.
ever had those moments where you're just like, this is shocking,
Yeah, you're like, where? And you're
but
like,
I'm not
no, I
shocked.
can see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Supergirl.
I never watched Supergirl.
You've never watched Supergirl?
Mm-mm.
Bro,
I will
you're
admit,
missing out.
I have not watched any of the DC TV shows
You're missing out. I mean,
or the
I can
Netflix Marvel
say,
ones for that matter.
oh, bro, you need to catch up. Catch up.
Yeah, I do.
What are you doing? Um,
Watching One Piece.
you know what you should watch,
What?
since you've said like you've been watching more anime stuff and foreign stuff.
Yeah.
Kotoro Lives Alone.
Katoro, KO.
Hey, oh, back to Supergirl. So this surprised me, but then didn't surprise me. And the reason it surprised me is because there's so many reasons as to why Supergirl should be impacting the LGBTQ community, but they only list one, in which I'm okay with that one reason that they list.
Okay.
So the one reason they list is because it features a trans actor. Her name is Nicole Maines, and she portrays Mia. And Mia, I don't, it's not coming to me right now, the superhero that she plays, but her powers is pretty much like she can like dream about things and kind of sense what's gonna happen in the future from it. Um, so that is pretty cool. She's pretty much like the first trans superhero,
Okay.
I could say. Um,
Yep. First
but
transgender superhero on television.
and then the other reasons that I feel Supergirl falls into the category is because um, Supergirl's sister actually figures out that she is gay. You know, she's a gay woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she ends up getting into a relationship where she's still trying to figure herself out. She's kind of new to being openly gay. She kind of always figured she was gay, but one, she didn't know how the family would respond. Two, she didn't really understand what that was because she wasn't raised to know that that was okay and there's nothing wrong with it. So it wasn't until she met her girlfriend that she figured out, like, holy crap, I'm attracted to women.
Mm-hmm.
And her storyline is pretty cool because she goes from being more of like angry all the time to just being powerful and just empowering herself, basically. So it's pretty cool.
I do want to have some honorable mentions.
Yep.
Um, just because I feel like uh, maybe they're not as big as as these other shows, but they're very popular shows that I feel like also have given some light. Supernatural has like a couple of lesbian characters
Yeah.
um, that are like super badass, like super badass, and they give no fucks, and they're just like unapologetically gay and stuff, and it's really dope. And actually, Harley Quinn has an arc, and now I don't know if this was for fan service. I can't really say. I don't read into comics like that, but the animated show Harley Quinn, that Kaylee Kuko, has a hand in,
Okay.
has a lesbian arc where Harley Quinn dates. What's her name? I'm blanking on her name. Why am I blanking on her name? Poison Ivy. There we go.
Okay.
They have an arc where they date. Uh, she ruined Poison Ivy's wedding for them to get together. It's pretty funny. But yeah, they. So I like these are bigger shows that are starting to incorporate, gay couples and lesbian couples and stuff
Yep.
into their television. So I just want to give a shout out to them too, because again, I don't know for Harley Quinn if it was just fan service, but at least for Supernatural's sake, it wasn't. So shout out to them.
Um, I would have to say, so these are like recent things that have occurred,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone knows it's not a reboot necessarily. It's more of like Will Smith took Fresh Prince of Bel Air and he created a show where it's Bel Air. It's
Mm-hmm.
based off of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but it's a spin basically. So instead of it being just a sitcom to bring humor and stuff, it shows the different way things could have went, and it's more like in depth and more serious and stuff.
Okay.
Um, there's a character everyone knows, Ashley from Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Well, on Bel Air, she ends up coming out as being a gay woman. She thinks that she's gay, and I've seen a lot of people um, be upset by this because they're like, Ashley is not gay. How are you gonna take Fresh Prince of Bel Air and make it where the characters aren't the way they are? Um, One, in Bel Air, Ashley is still a minor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the people that are saying they don't like the fact that she's gay are also majority the same people that are saying that she looks hot. So that just says a lot about your character right there.
Yeah, that's
Even if she's of age in real life, because I don't know how old she is in real life. Maybe you
yeah,
could look that up.
yeah,
Yeah. But regardless, her character on the show is meant to be a minor. So again, that just says a lot on your part. Two, a
she.
lot of
I will
people,
say she looks mad young. She's probably she's 15.
right?
Akira
So it's like, come
Akbar.
on, come on,
Yeah, she's 15.
y'all just disgusting. Um, and two, Will Smith openly said that he wasn't just taking Fresh Prince of Bel Air and just rebooting it and creating. No, he wanted to show a different side of it where it shows the problems that they could have endured. They're like, Carlton shouldn't be acting the way he's acting, when in fact, think about it. He's high strung on being the perfect son for his dad, who is trying to get into, higher up into politics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Reality is, he's most likely gonna need some Xanax to chill out. He's gonna suffer from anxiety. Like,
Yeah.
that's just the real life situation of it. I don't see the big deal in Ashley coming out as gay. I think it was made to be more modernized, and 2022, that's what's happening. People are coming out and feeling more comfortable in being themselves.
Yeah.
It's not like back in Fresh Prince of Bel Air during a time where people were still hiding in the closet. So
Yeah.
that's one issue I had with it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that sounds very concerning that these people who are sexualizing what did I say, 15, 16-year-old,
15, yeah.
um, they're okay with sexualizing her, but not okay with her coming out as a different sexuality to what they would have wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and obviously, even though there's reboots of shows, you can't really expect them to be one for one the same, because guess what? That gets boring, and you can just watch the old show instead of seeing someone do it again. It's like,
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
I feel like that's why a lot of, like, for instance, to bring up an example, it's not LGBTQ related, but when Disney takes all these classic movies that everyone loves and then they release a live action version of it and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't do as well as everyone expects it to, like even Mulan or Aladdin, which I personally really enjoyed those
I
movies,
thought it was great. Yeah, me too.
but I obviously prefer that. Well, not obviously, but I prefer the animated ones more because that's what I grew up with. That's the original. That's how I expect it to be. Like one thing from Milan, they didn't have a very now it's a controversial song. Make a Man Out of You. They've just put the instrumental in it, and I understand, why it's controversial now, but it was also a bop. And I feel like a lot of people were super upset that they didn't have the full sequence because it would have been
Mm-hmm.
correct for that time period. And they were
Right.
saying you're not, you know, it's more than just. And I think I mentioned this last podcast episode. If I'm not, then I'll just explain it now. I had to do a paper for my women and gender studies class where I got to choose the topic and it had to be based off a movie. And I made my essay about cross dressing in Milan. So like this was before the live action came out, but basically talked about like what she went through, um, how the men of the army thought women were, that they were subservient and that they couldn't be any better than they were, and like all of that context that's still in the movie in the live action is really hit home. I feel like, in my opinion, when they play "I'll Make a Man Out of You," because the whole purpose of it is like she's not a man and she's still outperforming all these other men. So
Right.
I think for them to be like, we need to take this song out because you know, looking back in history, it's controversial. I feel like it kind of more or less drives the point home about the uphill battle that she's facing. That's just me. That's
I
just my
agree.
take on it. But
I agree.
uh, as you can see, I did really well on that paper. I got an A plus. But um, yeah, man, I just feel like we need to, as a society, be more accepting and open to things, and not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily censor our history or our past
Mm-hmm.
because it's an opportunity for knowledge. I feel like so
Right.
to block things out, both progressive and regressive. I feel like it's the
Mm-hmm.
wrong way to go about things.
I completely agree. Speaking of Disney, I don't know if you heard about what's going on in Florida with the "Don't Say Gay" bill that's been passed.
I briefly read up on it. I will admit though that I don't remember what I read on it because I was probably like half asleep when I read
So
it.
the
Sorry.
bill, it's okay. The bill is pretty much saying that um, schools cannot teach anything that has to do with LGBTQ plus.
Okay, I
There
remember.
shouldn't be any discussions of like sexual orientation and shit like that. Um, with that being said, Disney has been fucking up, like big time, big time. We all know um, Walt Disney himself was homophobic.
Yes,
We all know that.
and
And
potentially a Nazi supporter.
exactly.
There's a lot of
So
evidence supporting that. Yeah.
mhm. So it doesn't come as a shocker to me that the people in charge of Disney now are pretty much saying like, unfortunately, we cannot support the LGBTQ community publicly with a statement. But we are working behind the scenes. To me, that's like a smack in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was it that particular moment, but then the movies that they've been coming out with, um, for example, Turning Red, they ended up taking out the scenes that was LGBT.
Mm-hmm.
So people were like, what the hell's going on? Like you're deliberately saying, well, we can't support you in public. We are working behind the scenes, and then you have movies that were supposed to come out with LGBTQ plus scenes in it, and then you take it away.
Yeah, I believe
I
I read, and shout out to the like the editors and the producers of this movie. I'm pretty sure I read that they also try to take a gay couple scene out of the Buzz Lightyear movie that's supposed to drop, and that
Yeah.
the whole team fought to keep it in, and that it was going to be a big outrage if Disney decided to keep it in. Now, let's see if in the final cut they keep true to their word and keep it in, but like,
Mm-hmm.
more stories have been coming out about people. I don't know where Disney behind the scenes is doing it, but people who are employed by Disney trying to be like, yo, be progressive, stop, stop blocking this movement and just accept it. It's not like we're like
Right.
throwing it in people's faces. It's like, it's just humans, it's just
Right.
people who exist in this world.
Right. Now, I would say I don't support like having full out makeout scenes or
Mm-hmm.
sexual scenes, because no child should see that, right?
No.
But it's the same with heterosexuals. I don't want my kid sitting down watching a cartoon or watching a kid show and all they see is a guy and a girl just full blown making out or sexual comments and things like that.
Mm.
So why is it the standard is it's okay to have the heterosexual scenes, but then the moment you're showing a child like, listen, that's not what life is about. You're going to go out into the real world one day, or you're going to attend public school, because let's be honest, no matter what a parent does, you could shelter your child as much as you want, but as soon as they go to school, they're going to learn what's actually happening in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? Your child is going to sit there just ignorant.
Yep. And the vicious cycle continues.
Exactly.
Uh,
But
I also, going back to the TV shows, we have to shout out another show. Speaking of children,
okay.
they never really quite like outright said it, but I think it was implied, and I think you will probably agree with me. But him from the Powerpuff Girls is definitely trans,
Yes.
or at least like crush
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So shout out to the Powerpuff Girls for having a character like that on the screen and trying to like normalize that situation. Like, even though him was a villain, I feel like seeing that on my screen and then seeing it in person, it wasn't like a big jump, like when I would go to like the city and see the same thing, and I'd be like, oh, whatever. In my opinion, it's in my head.
Right.
Maybe disconnected from the evil thing though, like maybe have a redeeming arc for him or something like that. But at least they showed it. Like I think that's something to give them
Sure.
props for.
Yeah, I do agree with you on there.
Yeah.
Do you have any other like questions or comments or fun facts, anything like that?
Was there a character like that on Cow and Chicken? I feel like there was.
Yeah, the I think it was like the devil. Um, he was always like after cow and chicken and trying to like get them to do things for him. I think
Mm-hmm.
he was also a red character.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say probably Cow and Chicken too. Needs a little shout out.
It's a lot of like I feel 90s cartoons and stuff that
The devil
had a
also had
little
some
bit.
cheeks on him for some reason. they gave him an ass, yeah.
Facts. He had the only cupcake.
the OD.
I won't even say it was a cupcake. It was a full blown cake. It was just a
Full-blown
cake. Yeah.
Yep.
So for anyone out there, please, if you have any opinions, any comments, any questions, please let us know. Hit us up on Instagram or
Yeah.
Facebook, or we're gonna try to figure out what content we want to put up on TikTok. You can hit us up on there as well. YouTube also.
We'll also have like a business email if you want to shoot us maybe like a topic you want us to talk about, as well as the comments.
Yep. All the information will be listed below this video.
In this YouTube video, but we'll also have it in the description for our podcast channels. We'll also have it in the description in Instagram and in Facebook.
Yes.
Feed us too.
Yeah. All the information will be down below, every single social media account and all of that.
Pew, 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 pew.
Okay, so I am Sasha, a lady lover, and I'm signing out.
And I am B Brandon Don, aka Brandon, Lady Lover Tambien, also signing out.
What's up, guys? Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn
Bye.
on those notifications for more content.